Okay guys, today's video is not a tutorial video but more a practice video I created over the weekend. So you can see this on the left side, a very basic fan. I figured out how to create it, or a good way to create it, I believe, and I made a very detailed tutorial about it. So it's very good for beginners but also for advanced users, I believe so, at least. And if you watch the tutorial video on this little guy here, then you can create this thing and also put your own, your own thinking into that. Means you can make it look easily better and different. Speaking of better, I would like to create something like this one here. So this guy made me thinking, and I thought I could also, use the Subdivision Modifier and make this thing a little bit better, the core of it, like this one here. And then I thought furthermore, why not making the case, the outer case here, more PC fan like, meaning maybe a little bit more detail. We're not gonna get crazy on this, but we're gonna put 4 holes into that, and yeah, that's about it. A little bit of practice. And we're gonna get started now. Did I summarize it well? Let me check if I summarized it well, if I forgot something, and if I did a good job on this. We're gonna continue from this point on. Well, I would say it's okay. I summarized it okay, good enough. Anyway, so we're gonna get started now. I'm gonna put all those guys here aside because we don't need that. So what I'm gonna show you, first of all, the basics I'm gonna use to create those stuff is, I'm saying it again, everything is explained very well in the video tutorial. So I'm using basically the same method. If you want to see that in more detail, then watch the tutorial. So now I said this like 3 times. Anyways, also if you like this new version, which I'm not sure because I do not know how it'll look like, let me know if you want to have a video tutorial where I explain it better. And yeah, because I want to be more casual. Otherwise this video is going to be, I don't know how long. Good, let's get started. So what we're going to need first, we're going to create those the core fan, I would call them, or the fan. Yeah, let's stop the animation first. That's a good start. Good, we're gonna need a new cylinder. This is how I started last time, only this time I'm gonna decrease the amount of vertices. I make it, I divide it twice. Do you guys say it in English? I hope so. And then we're gonna squeeze this guy down to the point where we like it. And now we're gonna select one face and the other face, and I'm holding down Control, Shift and plus. Now we selected, here every second face we selected. And now we're gonna hold down left alt and press E. Extrude Phases along the normals. Let's just do it like that. Does this look okay? I hope so, because at this point, because I'm doing it so randomly, it it'll look probably different to what you just saw. But again, this is not a tutorial, this is just a practice video. Good, I figured out, I think, pushing those guys a little bit up along the Z-axis. Z and Y confuses me because I'm from Germany, and it really, because sometimes I have to press Y when I want to change the Z-axis, because I changed the configuration, the language configuration, and it's just confusing. So sometimes when I say Z and it should be Y, you have to deal with that, but I try my best to avoid that. Okay, just mention that because I have to. Okay, so we did push those edges here just a little bit higher, and what we're gonna do now is gonna press R, then Z. I just pressed Y, so that's why it's confusing. You're gonna press R and Z. We're gonna rotate this thing on the Z axis, like this one here. Let's step out of the editing mode. edit mode, and we're gonna apply, or we're gonna choose. No, we do not apply. We're gonna choose this subdivision surface modifier like this. But you can also just press, if you don't do that, press Control 1. Now we have a subdivision modifier with the value of 1, 2 with the value of 2, Control 3 with the value of 3. But be careful, it's not in the render visible, so that doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what it is. Okay, this doesn't look too bad, but it doesn't look so good either. So what we're gonna need is, first of all, let's make the whole surface smooth. This is a smooth fan, and we're gonna select the middle here, the middle cycle, and now we're gonna press E for extrude, S for scaling down, and just scaling it down just a little bit. And let's do this again. Yeah, and I just pressed E and left click. I didn't do anything. How does this look? Oh, not too bad. Let's press I for inset phases. No, I'm saying it wrong probably. Inset phases. Probably. And again, I hope you know what I'm doing. I try to explain a little bit. If you're confused, if this is too fast, let me know. You would like to have an easier video tutorial. That's not a problem. Okay, I'm gonna press E for extrude and then S and Z. Now we're gonna, no, this doesn't work. We're gonna change here. Oh, wait a second. Let me just undo that. Let me undo the whole thing because it might be too confusing to you. Yeah, okay. We went back to the point, to this point. So we used the subdivision modifier 3 times, and now we're gonna select this cycle and that cycle. Now we're gonna press E for extrude, S for scaling down just a little bit, and left click apply. Now E to extrude, left click apply, and now I for insert phases, and now we're gonna insert phase to this position. That looks good, and now we need to press Alt and E. So hold down Alt and press E, then this window here will open, and we say extrude phases along the normals, and we're gonna just make it here a little bit, go inside that point, and we're gonna press one more time E for extrude, S for scaling down just a little bit, just slightly. So tap. Let's see how this looks like. Well, it looks like something. I mean, in this case, you know, this fan has for sure more details, no, more vertices. So performance-wise, probably not that good, but again, it's a practice video. So that looks okay. Let's make the whole object smooth, like just like that. Edit mode, object, and then smooth. It looks okay, I would say. Let's go into this viewpoint. Why is it so dark? There is no sun. Hehehe. Yeah, that was good. Let's just put the sun aside. So good. We're gonna need another. Can we just do it maybe in here? Let me just pause. I'm gonna prepare a new window. Actually, just thought we can go to animation. We're gonna use this animation window, the default window. I hope it's a default window, but again, if you're advanced, anyway, then you know what I'm doing. Okay, let's change this window here to the normal timeline. Why not? Time. Where is it? Timeline. Here we go. And yeah. This one here we're gonna change to the graphic editor. The reason, let me just tell you why I created the video tutorial in so much detail for the basic thing is, when I recorded the video I was okay, satisfied with it, but then I realized the video tutorial, there is no mouse visible, so Open Broadcast software did not record my mouse, and so I had to edit the video, and that was a good opportunity to practice the video editing software, which, I mean, in Blender. You can use Blender if you don't know that, also for video editing. And that's great. It's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. The sound settings, not so great, but you can, you know, if you know how the Blender works, I think, and if you stick to that, you can forget about Adobe Premiere, because Adobe Premiere is super expensive and Blender doesn't cost anything. It's a huge advantage. Anyway, just want to mention that because I like that a lot. Okay, we switched to the graph editor, did we? Yes, we did. Let's go back to layout. We're gonna make a simple 360-degree animation on the Z axis. So let's just hover over with your mouse over this window and press I. Now we're gonna go to frame 100. It's not necessary that we be on frame 100, but it's a good number, I guess. And we're gonna say 360-degree direction. You can make it rotate right or left depending on minus or plus. Maybe there's even another way later on. Let's see if I remember, I will show you what I mean. Anyway, so let's see if the animation works. It looks fine, right? So let's switch back to 100. Let's go back into our prepared window, animation window. Here's the graph editor. Position 1 to zoom in to the region where something is going on, I would like to say. Let's call this home. So this is our animation point. We're at frame 100, and here is a little tiny arrow, and there's a shortcut to open this little arrow window here in this area. I forgot the shortcut. I cannot remember it, and I don't want to press anything, something. I don't want to screw up anything, so I clicked on the tiny little arrow, and then we're gonna go to modifier and say modifier cycle. And now we're gonna change also the so now we have already an endless animation. That's good, but I would like to change. Today we're gonna use the behaving of the animation. So sometimes, you know, animation starts slow. Sometimes the animation cycles they start slow, being fast in the middle, and then slowing down again. And we don't want that. We want to have a constant animation. So I believe we should maybe use constant. I just do not like how this looks like. So last time I choose linear, I think that's fine. This is still a little bit confusing to me, to be honest. Maybe we have to select everything because it didn't change something. Yeah, you know. Anyway, there's a reason behind those stuff. See, this doesn't even work. Look at that. So we're just using linear. Anyway, you can always, if you have different animations, sometimes maybe there is not really a problem because we have like 2 animation points, but sometimes you have 3 animation key points, and then you need to experiment with those stuff a little bit if you're not satisfied with the animation cycle. Just experiment. You're gonna figure this out somehow. We are back in the layout. Now we have a little animation, and I hope yeah, you can see it rotates. It will rotate endlessly. Let's go to frame 5000. Is this correct? Does this work like that? Hey? That's weird. Ah, great. Always happens when I... No, it doesn't always happen, but it happens right now. I don't know why. That's really weird. What I mean by weird is... usually when I say... what the hell? You know, this shouldn't be gray anymore when I say we have like 5000 frames. Everything should be here. Something's going on, something I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's weird, but we can deal with that. We can play the animation. I just wonder why this is dark gray and this is not dark gray. There is a reason for it. Ah, interesting. Ah, let's try this one here. Ah, what the hell was that? Yes, I don't even know. You can tell me if you know. You can tell me what I just did, but see, this is how I figure out stuff sometimes. Good. This is how it should look like. We have our endless cycle animation and it looks okay. It really doesn't look too bad. Actually, we should save between that. And when we change the position of the second keyframe, go a little bit closer, then it accelerates, so it runs faster. At some point, you know, this looks super fast. If we go even closer, look at that. I like showing you this because, you know, if you ever watched a YouTube video where the helicopter propeller, what's propeller in the English? Where the helicopter seems to fly without the fan or whatever this is being turned on, that the reason for that, it matches the FPS of the camera to record the helicopter. I think a similar thing happens here if you go too close. Actually, our object is a lot faster, but we just don't see it because it starts to match maybe the FPS, or maybe it's mathematic. There is a reason for it. Anyway, so you see, you can make it faster, but if you don't get too close or in a weird position, it looks like it's even to the point where it just stands because it matches the FPS. It's funny and weird and cool, but keep that in mind. So faster, faster, faster. Weird, weird, weird. Okay, maybe we can change the direction by changing the start animation key point, and let's just drag him to this position and see what happens. Did this change? Oh, I'm getting just crazy. Let's make a duplicate and to see if there's a difference. So the duplicate shall be like that. Is this good? Is this not good? Ah, it works, right? So if we, yeah, now they are doing the same direction. If we change that, one is going in the opposite direction. Just by seeing that, now I realize we can also make a Switzerland, you know, we can make Switzerland. We can make a clock, you know. This looks like, I lack of the English word for those little tools. I lack even of the German word. What the hell? Anyway, but you know, you probably know what I mean. If we can make a machine, you know, something like that. It's a good idea. Stuff like this happens all the time. You do something and then you realize, hey, I could actually, or couldn't I? And then you think, yeah, I could. Yeah. Good. Anyway, we have here our little animation. That's good. Let's make it really nice again. Now we're gonna create the fun part. Oh no, this was already the fun part. We are going to create a second object. We need an outer case. Let's make 6. Ah, why not? 6 looks good for now. Let's make 8 because I just changed my mind. I'm crazy. So hold on. This one. And let me just think, maybe like this. Yeah, this is good. This is good. So I just, oh, so I forgot to say it. I used, oh, let's just do that again. Okay, I selected just a plane and pressed I for inset phases. And now I'm confused. Was that? And now I'm scaling it down, actually, the inset phases, the new phase. Inset phases is a really weird thing to me, in terms that the word itself doesn't mean anything to me. Weird English word. It's a Blender word to me, but it's not the word I use by, I'm not sure, do you guys use that in the English language? Do you guys say sometimes in a normal daily conversation, inset phase or something? Anyway. So, okay, we have inset phases. We used basically this one here twice, no, once, twice. And now we're gonna go to the fun part. We're gonna say right click, subdividing it 10 times. 10 times is a good value. I keep saying that. It's really good. It's between, it looks, if you use 10 times to subdivide and make this thing to a cycle, the cycle is believable. It's not super detailed, but it's also not super bad, so it's a good balance between detail and not. Okay, right click and no, I have a shortcut. You want to see that? on the mouse. But what I basically do is I go into the mesh, then transform, and then to sphere, Shift, Alt, and S. One of the best things I've ever, you know, when I saw that, it helped me drastically with Blender stuff. Yeah, we made basically with our subdivided surface, which we subdivided 10 times. We squeezed it to a cycle. Now we're gonna delete oh, I think I made a mistake. I believe I made the mistake. You know, we wanna put some holes here and there. Maybe we can still do it in another way. Again, practice, don't forget that, please. We're gonna tell X and delete the faces. Let's just stick with that. And now, although I wonder, it would be easier to cut the whole thing in half. Yeah, let's cut the whole thing in half. I'm gonna show you something. We're gonna do something cool. I'm gonna cut this thing here. You can cut things by... Yeah, how did I do that? Just did it. I don't even know how I do that. How do I describe that? Cutting things. Now that I'm thinking about it, I cannot do it anymore. I know, I remembered. Control R. So Control R gives you the ability to not cutting things in half, but you know, what does it do? I'm going to show you this quickly. We have here's a standard cube. If I'm in edit mode, standard cube, and I press Control and R, we get this thing here. Let's go a little bit closer. Control R, you know, and we're getting this thing here. And later on we can cut this easy. Okay, I want to just have a cutting line. That's what I said. So we have one here, one there. We need another one here. Control R. Oh, it doesn't really work, huh? That's interesting. Maybe if you're lucky. I see. Maybe subdivide that. Subdivide that. Is this completely in the center? Looks good. Looks very good. So we need to cut this thing here in half too. Because I have a great idea. I hope so. So, and now we're gonna make a cut loop here. Exactly, this is the word. It just occurred to me. Cut loop or cutting loop or whatever. I hope this is the word. Yeah, so next thing is we need to, let's delete certain faces. We're gonna press B to getting the selection box and selecting those guys. We need to select more actually. Let's use C. And we need that, unfortunately. This one we need to keep. I see. Well, this one we're gonna deselect, yeah? And let's see, what did I just do? Is this a good thing? No, it's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. So let's see, delete faces. What did I do now? Yeah, that's okay. Now you see we just deleted certain things, and now I know it's getting complicated again. Say this one more time. It's a practice video. Dissolve faces. No, dissolve only faces. Yeah, we're gonna delete only faces. We're gonna delete only faces here too. And now we're gonna go into, you know, the vertex selection mode, and we're gonna combine those guys here by pressing F. Selected this guy, and now there's a line. And we do the same thing here, this guy and this guy. Great. Now we're gonna get rid of those stuff. You only want to have this corner here. There's a reason for that. You will see it soon. You only want to keep that one. Everything else we're gonna delete because we're gonna use a mirror modifier. You already know that, I know. So we're gonna use a mirror modifier like this one here. And now we need to fill that stuff. I hope it'll work. I'm not even sure if this is a good idea, but this is, I do what everybody does. You're not special. Well, kind of. Everybody's special. A little bit, sometimes, and also not. The weird world. Okay. We're gonna use a mirror modifier now. So we cut everything, you know, you can see that. And when we use select here, the mirror modifier, we have here a little bit more. And let's activate maybe this one. Yeah, great, right? All right. So we need to make, we want to save the game. I have a Let's Play channel, so not so much going on, but a little bit. And I learned English with my Let's Play channel. You can check that out if you are bored or something. So let's see. That's why I said save the game, because that's still a huge part. Or I say that pretty often, that's the reason. Okay, here we go. And then, yeah, now I really don't explain much, but you can see it. You can see it. And again, if you would like to see a tutorial, let me know. It's going to take a while because it's a lot of work actually. But also because I'm editing is not new to me, but what am I doing? I try to find the which one is responsible. So we need to copy this value, the y axis value, because we're gonna paste this value onto this guy. So this guy is selected, and I'm gonna paste this value here, so they are, you know, in the same position. We need here a square to make a hole, and the same thing we're gonna do here. In this case, it's the x position. I hope so. I copied the x position value, and I'm gonna paste the x position value into this guy here. And then now we can delete those only faces. So I selected those faces, right click, delete x. I was selecting those faces, pressing X. Only faces, that's good. Now we can combine this one here, combine this one here, and now we are able to do it step by step. It's sometimes better. We don't need that anymore. The middle thing, we can delete the edges. Oh no, just edges. Yeah, filling this one here, that one. Great, we have a good template actually. Now we can work. This one we're gonna make a copy of, because this, for sure I'm screwing something up. It's always good to have a little bit of a copy. Yeah, so now let's make a hole. Could be that the hole is too tiny, but the good thing this time is, because this is now this is now, is this symmetrical? Huh? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know. Can we just make this bigger? Let's try something. Let's say, it's just a test, guys. Yeah, I want to make it bigger. Could we just use this value here and put this value here to that? What the hell did I just do? Ah, minus. Maybe minus is a problem. Let's make. Ah, so we could make it bigger. Do we need a bigger one? Ah, maybe. Let's delete this guy. Okay, having back this one here. Maybe we're just leaving it like that. Let me just, you know, I have a little fan here. That's obviously good if you have, you know, some reference, especially if it's an object, a real thing you would like to rebuild. And the PC fan I have here, right next to the, it's a weird construction. It basically cools me down when I eat too hot. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into that, but there is a hole here. Yeah, we're gonna use that. There's a hole here, so let's say, yeah, you know, this guy here is the right thing. Insert phases, we're gonna make a hole. Let's make it 2 times. 2 times is always good. I think it helps to, sometimes there are glitches when you have a 3D object and it's smooth and so on. That's the reason I'm always gonna do it twice, the insert phases when I want to make a hole. Good. Actually, in this case, we don't need really 10 times to subdivide it. I think 5 times would be sufficient, because it's tiny. It's very, very tiny. It's gonna not be so detailed, but it's good for performance in general. Good. Now we're gonna do this thing again. come to sphere, and then where's my mouse? Again, transform to sphere. I have a shortcut. Usually I use the shortcut, but for when I record it makes sense to show that, I guess. Okay, hey, look at that. It looks awesome already. This is what I like about Blender. Sometimes you just do little things and then you think, oh man, that's great. That's great. At least I do. But sometimes, often it's not that great. It's just, it happens all the time that I think, that's awesome. I'm doing something cool. It's really cool, but later on when I look back, I think, although my mesh, I still like my mesh, to be honest, and this was one of the early things I did. A lot of work, and I kind of did it somehow. I still like it, but sometimes, anyway, let's just continue. E for extrude, and then just whatever you can, you know, make it super high. The important thing is that it's symmetrical on the Z axis. So we say 1, enter. So, what do you say? This is the best fan in the world. I know. I think so too. We're gonna make the inner side smooth. You know, the mirror modifier thing is actually really cool. I just think that completely helps to make a better thing. Oh man, but you see that something is here a little bit weird. It's not symmetrical, or is it? Maybe it is, and I don't just... No, it's not completely symmetrical, but it has to do with the subdivision and stuff, and you can experiment with that. I'm leaving that to you. This happens from time to time, so, you know, making a hole like this, I mean, the cycle itself is perfect, and the more subdivide you do, the better and rounded the cycle becomes, and to a point where you cannot really tell the difference, especially if you do animations. But I wouldn't say it's perfect in terms of if you work for the NASA and you put something on the moon. I wouldn't rely on that. Anyway, so let's see. We're gonna say right click and say smooth. This inner face only smooth, the other face not. And ta-da! Let's make here a little bit more detail. I'm gonna select here this guy here, pressing E for extrude. And now we're gonna select only the outer. Oh, let's make a update, backup. Let's make a backup. Let's make a backup. Yeah. This doesn't look like my fan, but it's okay. We don't have to be exactly like that. So we're gonna need to select those guys. We use them. See that? Hopefully, you still see the mouse. I'm freaking out about the mouse because, you know, again, OBS did not record my mouse last time. It's a lot of work if you put in some errors. I selected the edges. Now I'm gonna press Control and B. This stuff I mention from time to time because this is stuff, you know, first I learned how to, with Blender, the basics, but using those bevel tricks and such is for beginner. But even if you learn use Blender for a while, this can still be a tricky thing. So it's okay to be confused. It's really okay. So again, if you want to learn this trick, this is, you know, okay, I'm saying it again. Selecting one face, selecting another face. Now Blender has a pattern, and if you want to continue this pattern, you're holding down Control and Shift and pressing the number plus key, the numpad plus key, plus, or holding it down. Ta-da! Right click, and we're gonna say pretty smooth. Here we go. So in the edit mode, this is the good thing about the edit mode. See, we should have. Oh no, we can do this later, I guess. We should later cut this thing in half and make it symmetrical on this side too. Where was I? I wanted to say something. I forgot. Anyway, this one we do two. Yeah, exactly. I also missed the time. So I was for a long time. I used Blender already for a while, intensively over a year. Meanwhile, So anyways, let's go not into that. But what I missed is I knew that you can in the object mode right click an object and say smooth, but I did not know that you can specifically give certain faces in the edit mode a different value. So this one, you know, can be flat. Yeah? See the difference? And this is very helpful later on if your object is more detailed. Yeah, so anyway, let's do that one here. Right click smooth. This is helping us because let's say we would make the whole object smooth. I'm gonna save. Let's just make it quickly smooth. Then, you know, it doesn't look good and we would need a bevel modifier to make it look better. Not this one. Also a helpful tool, but this one here. And then we would experiment. This is what I did for a while and that was okay because, you know, that's... So you see, now it's here a little bit better, but the rest looks weird. Anyway, we don't want to do that anyways. So that's the reason why only the round objects, everything what is round, giving it a smooth surface is helpful, I would say. So, okay, how does this look? Not too bad, huh? Yeah, it's not the best thing I know. Don't yell at me. How did I know? Well, don't know. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I talk a little bit more nonsense. This is really depending on my mood and on the amount of coffee I had. The most difficult thing is to me to get started with a tutorial because summarizing things in English is hard sometimes. And then I talk so much nonsense because I want to say everything in a short time and this never really works. So on some days, like today, it's just awful. I had like, yeah, 7, 8 attempts. I'm not kidding. It's tough. This is something I hope I can do someday better. But if not, well, it's also not that big of a deal. It's annoying, but it's okay. Let's see what happens if we press Alt and E for extrude along the normals. Does this make sense? Would this make sense? Control and B. No, without Control and B. Does this make sense? Extrude. Yeah, it gives the object more details, but this isn't necessary. Is it flat? Maybe it's good, maybe not. Well, let's make it like we cannot undo it anyways. I missed this point. I think when we want to use the bevel modifier for here, so we only want to select the outer rim. Only this one we cannot use because we're using the mirror modifier. Wait a second, this one here. Okay, Control and B. Yeah, more. And undo it. Again, Control and B. Go closer. And you can always cancel with the right mouse button after pressing Control B. Yeah, and here is the thing. So you can see it is from the distance round, but it's not perfectly round. You see, it could be better, and the reason for that is we only subdivided it 10 times. I bet if you would subdivide it 20 times, maybe 50 times, you would have a much better result. But I like to use those stuff later on in my animations, and so I don't want to have so many details because you don't see them anyways. I mean, I saw a video on YouTube, somebody talked about, I think the title was I use Blender wrong, and the guy sounded nice. But I thought, well, he said he used Blender wrong and because he put too many details in stuff. And I think it's a great video, first of all, because it takes away pressure that you have to be perfect. I think that's a good thing. But for people who would like to see a nice picture, just a nice picture with a lot of details, like a candle, very detailed and such, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. You can, if you like it, spend a lot of time for details. If you love doing it, then it's the right thing. But if you do a lot of, like me, animations and such, it's not a good thing. And yeah, what I would need is somebody who is less creative but good technically, I think, because I like creating stuff. And but I think technical people can focus better than I can, and producing less, making less mistakes. So, and that would be a good combination, I think. Anyway, why did I say this? I don't know. That's it. This is what I meant. I cannot really focus well. This is what I meant. Anyway, so I'm thinking about if I should leave that. You know, we don't even need that. The bevel thing. I hope I can undo this. Yeah. Yeah, let's leave it like that. Performance-wise, doesn't make any sense. Later on, when we have a little bit more, this one I select and this one I select. Let's make. We're gonna select this one and squeezing it down a little bit like this one. We're gonna copy this well because we need the same size on here. And now we have 2 times. I did this twice. I did not. Let me just save it here. So if I just do it like that, selecting this and that, then we have this one here. It's also not bad. But if you do want to have like 2 cutted things, then this makes sense. That's, you know, sometimes it does, depending on what you want. Copy this value, pasting it here. Now they're same size. I just went like extrude. Ah, see, this is what I meant. This looks good. And this one here, squeezing it down. You see, this you have to be careful if you do overdo this with your, if you have some, well, if it's very narrow, it easily you can easily create some glitches. So be careful with that. Smooth. No, I do not like that. Do not like that. Let's dissolve this stuff here. And that's okay. That's good enough. Can we dissolve this too? No. Oh, maybe no. We can. We can. The reason why, yeah, this is exactly why. That's why I learned this while I was modeling the ship. I'm still modeling the ship Kim. It's gonna be cool. I learned a lot. I still learn a lot while doing it. Right now, just like sometimes to do other stuff. And maybe I mean this one we can use it in anyways. What I learned by modeling the ship Kim, which you can check out if you want on this channel too. I talk about this is what I was talking about earlier. This face is smooth and this face is flat, and so it looks like a glitch, but easily solvable by right-clicking in the object mode and say this area shall be flat. And now we don't need to inset, what's the word again? Inset face. You know, we can just, you know, it looks good enough. Good. Yeah, awesome. The best thing in the world. It's the best thing in the world. So, yeah, you know, Alt E faces along the normals, and you're gonna push this out a little bit. Ooh la la! Look at you, beautiful case. Yeah. If I would make a tutorial, I'd probably make a similar one, but not the same. Simply, I probably cannot do the same. But this is not too bad, actually, huh? For a little bit here of practice and stuff. Okay, insert along the normals. Along the normals is very helpful if you want to be like super. What the heck is that? I like it, but this is not what I wanted to do today. No, it looks good. It looks like now like a CPU cooler. Cooler? Cooler, yeah. In German it's Kühler. CPU Kühler. You know, it might look here like a CPU cooler, but anyway, I talk nonsense. But this I can use later on also in my spaceship, it's gonna fit well into that. Even without, I probably don't even need to have this guy here, because this is with subdivision, and it just is harder. It needs more details, although maybe 2 is, you know, yeah, for animation purposes 2 would be sufficient. However, subdivision always impacts deeply the performance, because you simply have more vertices, and that is a problem. It's cool to use the subdivision modifier, but if you want to have a smooth object like that, I think yeah, recreating it manually is better than, or getting rid afterwards after applying. Let's just check this out quickly. I'm gonna copy this guy. So let's apply the subdivision modifier, because right now you see it looks like that, but this is it's false. We're gonna apply this here. You can either apply hovering with your mouse over this window and Control and A for apply, or this one here, apply. So now you see how many crazy things it has. It's over the top actually. What we could do now is basically, yeah, what could we do? It's an awful thing actually. This is an awful thing. We can select those guys here. Get rid of those stuff. Yeah. No, maybe? No, it might be even better. Hold on. Just a test. I mean, later on there are good options to do that. But let's just do a better thing. We're gonna select this and that. Selecting more. I'm holding down Control and pressing plus to select even more. And now I'll say delete phases. And making a copy of that. Now we're gonna apply this. Maybe we don't need that. Let's use that anyways for testing purposes. Yeah, that looks better already. So now we have, we can save some vertices at least in the middle of the thing. There are still too many here, there, so we can select those guys here and get completely rid of that. So many vertices, and you don't, you know, there's no benefit of having those guys here. See, it's not that good. Let's make undo steps. So let's make to this position here phases. We're gonna select this guy, and closing it here. Now I for insert phases, and now this one here to give some details back. Yeah, and now we can use the trick, right click and smooth. We have to use always this, the smooth thing always. This is probably the reason why I overlooked that. You only see the smooth option if you have the phase selection thing activated in the edit mode. That's the reason for that. Yeah, that must be the reason for that. I overlook this all the time. Shade flat. I might even use that once, but not. I wasn't aware of it. Maybe yeah. Ta-da! See, this is a better version. It still has a lot of vertices, but we got pretty quickly, pretty fast rid of some of those. We can now decrease, you know, those numbers, just selecting every second one, and say the dissolve edges. See, same thing we need to do here, and so you can decrease the number of vertices. At some point, it is pretty close to the without surface thing modifier, and it will have a positive effect on the, you know, we can actually just use that. I have to just undo certain things because I want to make sure that I'm using the right thing. So how can I determine that? Let's use this wire thing here. This one. I need something to not to forget which one. Okay, an easy way is, you know, we need a cube. And get the cubes. Snap. Selection to active. So now we have a cube. We're gonna use him, abuse him for our evil purpose. Just see which one we're gonna select. Yeah. Okay. This one we're gonna select. This edge here. Then every second edge we're gonna hold down Control, Shift and the numpad plus key. And now Blender stacks, I hope. It will not freeze here. Hehehe. Yeah, it worked. Okay, the soft edges. And now I think this one because I want. Did I maybe? Oh, I maybe already selected both, huh? Is this normal? Did I do that? Don't judge me, I'm also learning. Don't judge me. I see, this is the down thing here. Yeah. Okay, my system did not really work like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, guys. How did I screwed it up here. Anyways, let's focus on the other thing. This is something I can get rid of. You can see how you doing it approximately. This one will just take a little bit too much time for this video here, so we're gonna do that later, but it's possible to decrease the number of vertices. It's still looking good, and then if you do it well, you can have a nice round fan object. Good. I like the outer side. Shall we make it metallic looking like? Let's do that too. Like this one here. What am I doing here? Metallic, and so making it a little bit darker. And how does this look? Perfect. The perfect look. I just forgot to turn certain steps here. Yeah. Huh? Now you are impressed, right? I'm a little bit impressed. But no, that's just, Blender is a great tool. It always comes down to the point that you have to admit the people who are created. I keep saying that I would, you know, I would love the fact that I'm really good with stuff, but the truth is, first of all, somebody created Blender, and that's awesome because I have no idea. I do not know how programming works, and then I also benefit a lot from other people's tutorials, and so everything I produce is always being influenced by you know, but by other people. That's what it is. So that you should keep in mind. You should be humble about that. You can be proud, but here and there, be a little bit humble. It's a good thing. A very good thing. And deep down, you know it anyways. You know, sometimes that you created something and then you know you didn't know how it would look like in the end. So then you just say, "Hey, I did this. Look at me." Yeah. Stuff like that. We just see. We're gonna use the loop cut here. Control R twice. Squeeze this here down. Now we're gonna select those guys here. Control nonsense. Alt E. Getting this window. Yeah. And now it's important to select only these things here. This, that, and bevel. Well, well, well. Look at you, lovely bastard. Yes. See, and it started like with this thing here. This is what I love about Blender. It's crazy. This is so crazy. You get an idea, and as soon as you understand, oh, wait a second, I could do this, and then I could do that. And then you do create something you like. This is more metallic looking like. That's great. Yeah, basically, when we play the animation, this guy is, and now it's not really a fan for that. This could be a lot better, but you know, it's not so bad actually for us. We can also give it here. A quick way to give the same material I'm going to save here is by this one here. You can just click on that, drag and drop it on another object, and then it shares the material properties. It really does share the material properties, which is sometimes annoying because if I change the color of this one here to, you know, it changes everything. So if you don't want to do that, you have to click in this on this window. It basically says material 7 is in this scene 2 times, 1 time, 2nd time. So you click on that, and now every material has its own. Every object has its own material. Now we can change this one here. Now let's make it gold. And what do you say? That's awesome. You know, we don't even need to do the... I wanted to do a loop cut, which we still could do. Shall we test this out? I hope. Let's make a quick test. If this works, fine. If not, then let's ignore that. But I think it works to make it symmetrical. Because actually I'm already happy with how it looks. So, but to make the upper and... Ta-da! I do not know what that is. It's a weird construction thing. Anyway, let's go back to this menu here. And this looks like a table now. This is also a good... This is a good way to create one of those old tables from the... 70s. Yeah, anyway, with the super old nonsense here. You know, the golden stuff. I show you this quickly. Ta-da! You know what I mean now? I hope so. Okay. This is a nice Renaissance table. Let's put him aside. Renaissance people just abuse other people, you know. They build castles and such, and they you know, claiming them. I built a castle. No, you don't. You did shit. You made other people work hard. Probably die on your stupid castle. Anyway. Okay, let's see. This is still something we need to get. I hope we can do. What am I doing? This is too much. I forgot it's mirror. That's the reason. It just move. Still looks a little bit weird. I don't think we can solve that in here. We could maybe just give it a different material. I'll share this one here. 7. Share 2 times. Be careful. And make this a little bit rougher. That takes away, if you make it so smooth, you see, for whatever reason, I don't even know why, but there is a reason for it for sure. Although that's smooth, it reflects those little things we don't like. So we just gave it a new material and decreased the roughness. This is, again, you know, we have a good performance then. And you don't even see much of a difference. To make it even look better, we can actually give a ground too. Oopsala. A ground. Just to record because I just got on the touch the other PC. Yeah. Okay. Now we have a ground too. I think Blender is a little bit overwhelmed with my recording and stuff. So let's make this here. We had this one we don't need, so not completely dark. If you don't like the grid, sometimes if it annoys you, there's an easy way to get rid of the grid. Just go into the shading menu, and we can this one here. But here in the shading menu, there's no grid and such. So, well, guys, I think that's it for now. We have a little bit more detailed object. I have some textures also. We can apply one if you want, so like this one here. This is from my ship. I just copied it because it's easier to just drag and drop it, you know. So now it looks a little bit weird. We should maybe change this a little bit. So if you give it more details, like in this way. Again, this is a bit confusing. We don't actually need that. So only that is sufficient. I'm changing this one here too. I forgot about that, but it's not a big deal right now. So I have here some noise, but we can actually use another texture. I'm gonna just pause because I have to, you know, look where it is, and I don't want to show my stuff. So I'm gonna pause here. Okay, so I just used a texture which I created for my ship, and I experiment a lot with bump modifiers and such. And this is something, bump effect is very cool, and it's to me it's a long time weird. It's still kind of weird, but getting more and more control over the bump effect. I learn how to use it better and better. That's also good. Okay, we're gonna we have here my bump effect texture. It's not I say bump effect and I don't even use a bump effect. Anyway, let's just bump. Here we go. This goes into the height, this goes into the normals, and let's just see what happens. Yeah, it renders a little bit. Okay, we don't see it everywhere because simply we have to select in the edit mode everything. The face selection mode, right click, and then a good way to use it is UV, and here cube projection. So now we have even a little bit more details on our little object. So we can use other textures for that. The textures I also created in the it's very easy to create a bump effect, and some random stuff you can also use and produce. But if you have your a fixed bump effect texture, I believe, that's my experience and that's what people say, but I'm still learning, so take that with care. I believe the bump effect the random generated stuff, procedural generated stuff is coming with the cost of performance. So you see here it looks a little bit better, I hope so at least, so we don't need to add the roughness here. We can just increase it in here. Why is this so dark? A little bit weird. We have here like, why is this going to that? Don't want to do that. Okay, let's right click default this one here. Yeah, that's better. A little bit more. Yeah, great. We can also use this one here. You see the name is outer wall, inner wall. This is for my ship. For that one, ta-da! This is actually a bump effect I created manually. But even if you have a good bump effect, you can sometimes apply it to other stuff, and randomly, depending on how you created your stuff, it can look surprisingly weird. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it gives you some ideas, you know. And yeah. So basically this is my ship and this is where my door is. So this is the first bump effect I created, or one of the first bump effects I created, where I had the control over where it should be exactly. So here's my door ship. Here's security bot Walter, and then the door opens here. I hope this is the right thing. Sometimes I'm talking nonsense, so keep that in mind. Ta-da! Ta-da! Now we have yeah, what do we have? We have a fan animation. No. Does it look better? Does it look worse? Well, this is yours to determine. You can, if you watch my tutorial, you can create your own fan and you can make it even better, because it's not that complicated as you saw. Especially if you know Blender a little bit, it's a very, very easy way to do that. This looks kind of like it would be smoke coming out of the thing, but it's just an visual effect. I think I'm gonna use something like that for my thumbnail. Okay, don't be mad at me when I use a better thumbnail as the end product. This channel is super small. I need to do something, but probably it's gonna be like that. I don't like how it looks in here. So why does this look here so weird? Are we actually almost at the end? I'm not gonna do much more. I think that's better actually. We should use, go here. Oops. How could I do that? Maybe here. Oh no. No, we're gonna, when we wanna save, make this flat. Yeah, I don't see. Now we just, I wanted to put more detail into that with vertices, but because I just made it here flat, it has a better effect. It looks more sharper on this particular level. Yeah, so this one here too. It saves us performance at the end of the day. Also, Shall we do that? Make this here one golden. Actually, I want to have a CPU like that now. I mean, you know, I'm very excited about it. I think you can kind of hear that. At the same time, you know, it's nothing special. You know, to me it is, but not really. Then what is that? Is this a glitch? Just no, this is just the outer wall. That's why it looks like that. So here we go. And we should make this one here. I don't like. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, this thing I don't like much, but you know, this is now I'm getting lost in the details actually. So, ta-da! Good, I said ta-da a few times. We are done. Almost. Ooh la la. Who the heck has such a fan? I should have such a fan. Actually, those stuff is always like plastic, right? So a nice plastic thing is basically if we use subsurface, like this one, more shiny, make this one here red. Now it looks more plastic-like, right? Doesn't really fit to the thing here, and it's not connected to anything. So you might see that or not. But here's again, you can, this one you can change. You can give it down here, you know, something like that. If you want, I don't want. Let me just undo this. I don't want to have that. Can I? No, I cannot undo it. No, can undo. Sometimes I have to switch languages. That's why I'm confused, you know, from German into the English. I think I mentioned that. Because I cannot undo stuff in the German configuration in the same way, because the reason for it, like I said, I think Y and Z are swapped in the German keyboard configuration. That is confusing. It makes me kind of crazy. I could solve that, or could I, by using something else, but I left everything default, because when you follow people on, when you follow tutorials and such, then it's helpful if you press exactly the same button as other people do. Yeah. See guys, I cannot stop. Yeah. Yeah. This one here. Would this be a good CPU cooler? I think probably not. I think it wouldn't cool well enough. But since this is a future super cooler, means you want to see something funny? Let's put a light to that, and then I'm gonna go. We're gonna put a light to this guy, making it follow. I click the light first, and then our fan, pressing Ctrl P, object keep transform, changing the light to red, stronger. Let's play the animation. Yay! Look at that! I know, guys. Sometimes it's the combination of too much coffee and yeah, whatever. Yeah. Boy, do I like that right now. It's so funny. And even making it duplicated this guy. I should, when you duplicate it, it should yeah, it should. Oh la la! Getting really crazy here. Make it a little bit. Yeah, let's make one. Huh? I think this was Zombie Nation, huh? Guys, okay, now you know I'm officially crazy, and I hope that was kind of entertaining for you, and you maybe learned something. I think it wasn't that bad, right? Anyway, do your own stuff. I have to go now anyways, because I'm a very busy man. So I'm a very important man. Not really. Anyway, do your own stuff, make a cool fan and have fun with it. We see us, and if you want me to do a slower tutorial on something or whatever, if I can, I try. But you know, also tutorials I have to learn. I'm learning everything. Bye bye.